Working in a morgue after midnight. Talk about creepy. I think the only thing that would give me the heebie-jeebies more than that would be spending money on this movie. So The Mortuary's Assistant is a video game adaptation based on the popular video game by the same name. What do you think the movie's about? Well, you guessed it. It follows a mortuary's assistant. You're going to spend the night with this woman as she's going to experience a bunch of creepy stuff in, I don't want to say the worst video game adaptation ever, but it ain't good. Now, I'm no stranger to video game adaptations. In fact, I almost feel like I seek out pain. I watch almost all of them because I'm a gamer myself. I actually have not played this game, but I own it. One of those Steam owners. This movie's not really trying to do anything creative aside from just replicate the experience of playing the game, except you're not playing the game, you're watching it. It's kind of like you're watching what it would be like to watch somebody play the game. Why would I not just play the game? You're watching our main character work this job at night, and the way you would get video game prompts if you've ever played a survival horror game where you get the option to choose different things, the character talks out loud, they give you exposition. Our main character really only does that. So all of the scenes she's in, she's walking around. I wonder what the boss will want me to do. Well, that's kind of strange. I wonder who put that there. And she talks out loud, looks into the camera as if, again, you were playing the video game and those prompts were popping up. And this is the point of the game in between the gameplay where you would be having the story explained to you because you don't really know what else you're doing besides the gameplay. Except there is one major fault here. There is no gameplay. You're watching a movie. So all you're watching is a character walk around and explain tidbits of what you can connect to gameplay, but you have not played it. Not very interesting. You also have a character in this film, somebody she's working for at this morgue. I don't want to say he is the most cartoonish villain I've ever seen or the most obvious bad guy you have ever seen. But if you are dumb, deaf, and blind, you could spot this guy out of a lineup in 15 seconds. You'd go, oh yeah, that's the bad guy. Again, exposition heavy. This is the character of a video game, I would imagine, who is in the game solely to explain why you're playing the game. Except in movie form, all this character does is stand around and say cryptic lines, has a creepy demeanor. Everything he says is exposition for the sake of this film and the video game's gameplay, and it's very obvious when you're watching the movie like why this is structured the way it is. Putting all of that aside, this is still a horror film, so judging it on its own merits, I have to say it's a pretty good movie if you like bad movies, because this is another example of a video game adaptation that both feels way too long, but it also feels like it wouldn't even work as a short because all of the stuff blending it together just devoid of anything you care about because you're not physically doing it, you're watching a person do it, and that is an entirely different experience. And I don't know if it's just me because I both watch these types of films and I play these types of games, but there is a huge difference in the way it feels to play a game as opposed to watch a film. I love horror films, but video games are their own breed when they're done right, okay? You can take these terrible adaptations, play their video games, and you can be scared to hell because that's how much more effective it is to physically do what they're depicting. But I have not yet found a movie that has one for one directly adapted the video game that made me feel anything like an effective horror game. And I feel like this is yet another example of that. No tension or anything. It's not scary the way it's filmed. You're watching a person who is a mortuary's assistant operate on bodies and do embalming fluid and all that type of stuff that you have seen in 500 other horror films, but it doesn't have any stakes to it because you're not physically in the game, so you don't have any of that tension. What you're left with is a very bland narrative following around one girl all night with this cryptic narrator guy off in the background. There's a creature lurking somewhere that you don't see until the very end, and I will say when you do see him, it's almost like you wish you didn't, and it's not because you're going to have nightmares, believe me. You're probably going to have the strongest laugh you've had all week. Again, one final time, I'm sure in a different context, if you were to play this game and you were supposed to be jump scared by it, or you eventually get this revealed to you, there's a different feeling when you see this creature. But when I saw this in this movie, I don't want to say it killed all of my interest and ambition to play the game, but this is not an interesting creature. It's not scary. I found it to be pretty comedic, and that reveal just did not work for me. Overall, guys, to summarize Mortuary's Assistant, sticking with the themes of death, this movie was dead on arrival. I was never interested in it. It felt like a huge slog. It's 90 minutes long. Felt at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Much like Iron Lung, I think Iron Lung is better, but this movie is paced terribly. But I recommend you do not check out this movie. The Mortuary's Assistant is background noise. So The Mortuary's Assistant, if you've seen it, comment down below. Let me know if you checked out the game. What do you think of these video game adaptations? Are they as rough as I find them? All of that below. If you enjoyed this content, I recommend you click down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next review. Peace.